Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 Morning Show. We love showcasing indie artists on the show, and this morning we're heading to Idaho to chat with award-winning indie singer-songwriter Dave Nudo. Dave delivers a unique sound by blending his love of country and southern rock music with his small-town Northwest roots. He just released his latest single called Lonesome. We're stoked to have Dave on the show. First of all, Dave, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, I lived in Boise for a couple of years, way back in the early 2000s. You're in Cambridge. Where the hell is Cambridge, Idaho?
So Cambridge, Idaho is north of Boise on Highway 95. You got to come up the freeway, head west on the freeway, and then north from there, from like Ontario, Oregon.
Okay.
Just up past like Weiser. Everybody seems to know where Weiser is.
Yeah, everybody knows where
Weiser is.
Weiser.
Right around Weiser.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very, very small town, like 360.
Yeah. Well, you played in Boise last night. We were just chatting about it. How did it go?
Oh, it went pretty well. It was just a solo acoustic show, which is not something I'm accustomed to anymore, but I've recently started doing some of that because I don't know, it's easier to pay the bills when you're kind of just making all the money yourself.
Yeah, and not as many people to worry about when it's just you. You opened for Granger Smith at the Knitting Factory a couple weeks ago. Was that a full band?
Nope, that was just me solo for 1,000 people. It was amazing.
Yeah, how was that?
I'm getting the chills thinking about it. It was a whole lot of fun. I got like one of these call and response kind of songs I wrote called So Far So Good, and I always have the audience screaming So Far So Good with me. And when 1,000 people do it back at you, it's pretty impactful.
Wow, and they came early enough, so the place was packed when you were doing your set.
Yeah, I was really hoping that would happen, and that's what happened. Everybody was already there by the time I started, so I was just really happy it turned out that way. So I decided that they probably all came early just to see me.
Exactly. They saw Dave Nudo on the bill. It wasn't about Granger Smith, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I like your voice, Dave. It's unique. It's a little bit different than what we hear everywhere else. Was that just your voice? Did we take lessons? How did we get here?
Well, I've never taken any official lessons. I did use this back when I was trying to, I had a hard rock band back a few years ago, and I really wanted to have a lot more strength so that, I could, and it's a little bit harder singing. So I used this CD that I came across from a guy named James Lugo, who's a vocal instructor, and he lives in Nashville. But anyway, I did exercises with that CD, and that's the only kind of lessons I've ever had. Everything else has just been kind of listening and learning how the big guys do it, and just kind of paying attention to myself and what I can and can't do. And that's how we got here. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you were in a hard rock band. I saw you like Lizzie Hale, a couple other people, a couple other rockers that you want to have a collaboration with. But how did we get to country or where we are now?
I think I sort of came back to country. I was, growing up, it was always country music was the thing that I was kind of raised on. And then, I got a little older and I started listening to what was more contemporary on the pop and rock radio stations and that kind of thing, and just started falling in love with all sorts of stuff like R&B and hip hop and rap and metal. And, my big dream for a long time was to be the biggest metal band or rock band on the planet. And my neck started getting sore from all that headbanging. And I'd written a bunch of country type songs, country rock sort of thing, all throughout all the years of any of the bands I was in. So I just kind of, I don't know, I was tired of the bands breaking up, and I decided maybe if I started this thing that I'm doing now, the only way it could break up is if I quit.
Yeah. Well, if you go check out Dave, he looks like a rocker. Go check out DaveNudoBand.com. He's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. His latest single, Lonesome, is out now. You did County Line in 2017. Is that your only full-length album?
Yeah, for this project, yes.
So it's been all singles since then?
Yeah. So after that, I went and recorded in Nashville with a guy named Kenny Royster at Direct Image Studio, who's, by the way, also helped Luke Combs get off for his first EP. That was pretty awesome. Anyway,
nice.
So after that, I got signed to an indie label out of Atlanta, Georgia, called Eminent Music, and ever since then, I've been recording like through them and releasing through them. So they don't want to do a whole album, and I still want to do a whole album because I'm tired of holding all these songs back and releasing them one at a time after several months without anything. You know, it's like, let's just let it all go. I want another full-length album. So that's what I'm working on right now. Actually, we're gonna just compile everything and put it on a CD and start selling them at the shows.
Well, there you go. Yeah, the record label, they don't want a full-length album. They want you to keep doing singles. That's for sure.
Yeah,
well,
right.
Dusty Lee, you won the Josie Award for collaboration with her. You guys have been together for quite a while. How did you meet?
Oh, that was kind of just a cool night at the Knitting Factory in Boise, Idaho. We ended up on the same bill, and I don't know. Her husband Wade just kind of really liked one of my songs that I'd done at the time, and he just we just sparked up a friendship between the three of us, you know. And I got to write in that one song called "Like You Were Forbidden." I just sort of woke up one morning and it was kind of stuck in my head, so I wrote the whole song and I shared it to Wade and Dusty, and Wade and my wife actually about 5 minutes from each other suggested that I do it as a duet with Dusty Lee. And I thought, hey, that's a great idea. So we did. And then, ended up submitting that to the Josie Awards and won for Best Musical Collaboration in 2020. So pretty proud of that.
Yeah, and Dusty won for 99 Halos, which was a song that you wrote.
Yeah, right. Yep.
How does that, I mean, is it tough to give up a song? Did you write it for her? Did you think a female was a better singer? What were you thinking?
Well, I kind of wrote that for her about her dad after he passed, and I would have loved to have kept that song. I really love that song, but it was a good fit for her, and it was I started it for her, so it was no hard thing to give up that song. I figured at the worst case scenario, I'll make a cover of it one of these days.
Yeah, you can still play it live, so that's
right.
That's all right. You're a big Chris Stapleton fan. Have you ever seen Chris live?
I have not, just on YouTube videos.
Okay, so
Seems like every time he's come to town, I'm not available.
Yeah, well, that happens. He's a busy man. You own the Roundup Coffee House in Cambridge?
Oh, yeah, I do. I work in there a couple days a week just to, help it's not that big of an operation, so it pays for itself, and it pays some of my bills, and it pays the employees. But I like to be in there a couple days a week, though.
Then we have to ask you, how do you like your coffee, Dave?
Black.
Me too.
Black.
We're easy.
No cream, no sugar.
Yeah, just straight up. Do we use any special type of coffee? Do you roast your own? What are we doing at the Roundup Coffee House?
So, actually, there's a local Boise guys called Dawson Taylor, and they make incredible coffee. They roast it really well. So, and we've been exclusive with them since we started back in 2002 or whatever it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Dawson Taylor, they're incredible.
What I saw you were just doing like a writing session with somebody. How does that work? I mean, do you like writing with other artists? Do they invite you? What? I've
had several people talk to me about writing with them. A couple of people have come through and made it actually happen. One of the guys that I grew up in my first band with, he's still a friend of mine, and we get together once in a while. And actually, two different guys that I'd worked with way back. We recently getting together for like a weekend. It's basically a boys' weekend out, but what we do is get together and write songs. And that's how Fresh Ground came. That's actually how Lonesome came too. And there's been several others that just sort of like, well, that was a good one, but these are the ones worth really focusing on. So
Yeah.
But, I do like collaborating with other writers. A little part of me wants to kind of just have it all my way, but then the truth is, when we put more than one mind on the same concept, better ideas come from it. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Do we bring ideas to the round table? Do we just show up? What?
Usually. But there have been things where we just started, like I just had one little line and we expounded upon it and made a pretty cool song out of that, you know. But yeah, there are always little notebooks that have existing thoughts and like half songs and things like that. But I think the magic really happens when you just sit down and start getting after something together.
Yeah, start talking about it and hashing it out. Did you see the new Jelly Roll documentary?
I have not.
It's kind of cool. He's sitting there with a couple songwriters, and that's what they're hashing out a couple songs, and it's kind of cool to watch them.
Right. That's cool.
You know, form the song by doing it. Well, you mentioned doing band gigs and solo gigs. I mean, that's a totally different beast when you're doing a solo gig, especially when you got 1,000 people staring at you and you're the only one on the stage. What do you like better?
I like both. I think if I had to pick, I'd rather kind of have the band with me. It's just so much more freeing, and I don't have to, I don't have to have that concern that I might miss something. And if I forget a note on my guitar, somebody's there to pick up my slack. You know?
Yeah, it's not as noticeable when you screw up.
Right. That's right. And believe me, I do it plenty.
Yeah, well, especially when you're singing and playing the guitar at the same time. Yeah. Go check out Dave. He's at DaveNudoBand.com. He's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. His latest single, Lonesome, is out now. On your Facebook page, you said to go and like you on Instagram because you're trying to up your social media presence. Is this the label? Is this just what you're trying to do? What?
Actually, that's, it's the best thing we can do is be very visible on social media. So my manager actually is the one that put that one out, and actually it was pretty effective. Got a bunch of Insta likes the other day, followers. Yeah,
you're doing good on all your social media.
Yeah, well, I'm only partly responsible for any of that.
It's everybody else helping you. Well, you got to get help with everything. The beard and the hair. Have we been growing these simultaneously? How long has this thing been growing, Dave?
Oh gosh. Well, pretty much my whole entire adult life I had long hair and a long, I used to have a long goatee, but I'd let it grow in the wintertime, because it got cold out and my cheeks get cold. But then I ended up just leaving it full beard, and that's been going on for like 10 years.
Wow. Has the wife seen you clean shaven?
She has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she told me not to do that anymore.
I don't want to see the full thing. I want to keep the beard on there.
It used to be cute when I was a younger guy, but apparently it has changed over the years. That's what I would say. The more of my face that I cover up, the better looking I get.
Yeah, you're doing a ton of shows around your area. Are we gonna branch out? Are we staying in the Pacific Northwest? What?
I don't plan on just staying around here, but that's kind of what we're a little bit trapped with, because there's so many things that go into trying to make a tour, and for one, we gotta have a big enough rig for all of us and reliable enough and a way to get all the gear everywhere we're going. So we're trying to save up for a van, and I got my van, but I don't think it'll make it across the country. So anyway, we're pretty well regional right now, but we've branched off into Montana and Wyoming and into Nevada some, and Oregon and Washington, But I'd like to get clear across, over to New York or something.
Yeah. So you've been here to Wyoming and Montana?
Yes. Yeah. But I think it was like 2 summers ago. We drove out there and played in Billings at this place called the Wild Horse. And then we went over to Cheyenne to, what was it called?
Oh, wow.
Outlaw.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Outlaw Saloon.
Yeah, that was a cool place. And then we went to the Silver Dollar Saloon. No,
In Jackson?
$1 million bar in Jackson Hole. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Great place. Really cool. A lot of history in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say, Wyoming would love you
Yeah. Well, I love Wyoming. I know that.
if you came around here. That's for sure. Well, besides touring, we got any summer plans? We heading back to Dollywood? What do we got going on?
Other than just playing music whenever and wherever I can, maybe try to get a camping trip in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I do think I'm going to go over to like Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Nashville. That's where Dusty Lee moved to. We got a brand new duet that I just wrote with the same guys that I wrote Lonesome and Fresh Ground with. We got a brand new duet we put together for me and Dusty Lee to record, and we're going to go over and do the vocals together at the Eminent Music Group studio there, and probably go play a show with her. As far as like getting out and doing something cool, that's about all I've got on the books right now.
Yeah.
That'll be in July.
He's too busy touring. Go and check out his tour schedule. You can go to his website, DaveNudoBand.com. He's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And here is his latest single, Lonesome. Well, Dave, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Here he is, Dave Nudo. It's Lonesome. It's KIX 96.5.